Have you ever wondered why some people seem to naturally draw others in, while others blend into the background in a crowded room? What if I told you that this magnetic power isn't something reserved for a lucky few, but a skill you can learn and master? Now let me ask you, do you believe you can train your charisma and become an incredibly captivating person? And how would your life change if you could connect with anyone in a natural, authentic way? The answer is simple. Yes, you can. By learning to express your emotions clearly and read others' emotions, you're already halfway to becoming more charismatic. Today, we're diving into those powerful techniques together. Hey there, and welcome to another lesson. Today, we're going to talk about something super interesting: charisma. Yup, that mysterious, magnetic quality that some people seem to have effortlessly. But here's the deal. Charisma isn't just reserved for the chosen ones or some kind of mystical gift. Nope, you can actually train yourself to be more charismatic, and that's exactly what we're diving into today. So what's the big question? Most people ask, what is charisma? Well, let me break it down for you. The word charisma comes from the Greek word charis, which was all about the three graces, these goddesses of beauty, enchantment, and grace. Back in ancient Greece, folks thought that if you had charisma, you were literally blessed by the gods. Sounds wild, right? But think about it. Back then, when they didn't have all the knowledge we do now, it made sense to credit the gods for something they couldn't quite explain. But here's what charisma actually is. It's the most natural, comfortable way you can express your true self in the world. It's not about being a show-off or faking it till you make it. No. Real charisma happens when you find your own unique vibe, your own way of communicating, moving, and being. It's kind of like what Buddhism teaches us about finding peace and wisdom within ourselves. Charisma is about being authentic, not playing a part or copying someone else's style. Now, a lot of people think charisma means you have to be super outgoing, talking to everyone, making jokes, being the center of attention. But that's a big myth. Charisma isn't about being the loudest voice in the room. It's about being comfortable in your own skin, even if you're the quiet one in the corner. The real magic happens when you're unapologetically yourself. It's like what we learn in Buddhism, being in harmony with who you are without needing to force or fake anything. That's where real charisma lies. Here's another thing people often get wrong. They assume charismatic people have to be entertainers, making everyone laugh or constantly interacting. But charisma runs much deeper than that. It's about the ability to influence others, to make them trust you, follow your lead, and feel inspired by your unique personality. This is why charisma is closely tied to leadership. When someone's charismatic, people naturally want to hear what they have to say, because they come across as confident, trustworthy, and real. Now, let's get into why it's important to develop charisma in the first place. Why should you even care? Well, here's the thing. When you're charismatic, you're naturally seen as a leader. People trust you, listen to you, and are open to being influenced by you. Whether it's in your career, social life, or relationships, being charismatic opens doors. It makes you stand out, makes people want to connect with you, and honestly, it makes life a whole lot smoother. So, where do you start? The first step is finding your uniqueness, your inner light. What's that thing you're really good at? What's your most genuine way of interacting with people? I get it. It's not easy to figure out, and it won't happen overnight, but I'm here to plant that seed in your mind. Reflect on what makes you, you. Write it down. Meditate on it. Whatever helps you discover that part of yourself. In this lesson, I'm going to give you a few exercises to start working on your charisma so you can express that authenticity more effortlessly. Now let's talk body language, because how you move and present yourself says a lot about how comfortable and confident you feel. And remember, the mind and body are connected. Just like in meditation, where our posture influences our mental state, the way we carry ourselves in the world shapes how we feel inside and how others perceive us. It's all about alignment, just like in Buddhism. First things first, posture. Whenever you walk into a room, I want you to hear my voice in your head saying, fix your posture. Stand tall, sit up straight. Why? Because when your posture is strong and open, you're signaling to the world, I'm confident and you can trust me. It's like when you see someone in meditation with a straight back and peaceful presence, you instantly feel that calm, grounded energy. Here's a little tip. Imagine a line running across your nose, like the equator. If your nose dips too low, you're coming off as submissive. If it's too high, you might seem arrogant. The sweet spot is a slight lift, just enough to show you know your worth without overdoing it. It's all about balance, right? And when you're in a situation where you feel uncomfortable, your body shows it. You start shrinking, crossing your arms, fidgeting, or holding on to something. To combat that, as soon as you walk into a room, straighten up. Lift your head, expand your gestures. Open body language makes a world of difference in how people perceive you and how you feel about yourself. Now, let's talk about one of the most uncomfortable things for most people: speaking in front of groups. Yeah, it's scary. We're hardwired to fear being judged, and when you're up in front of a bunch of people, that fear can kick in hard. But here's the thing, you can't control how others react, and in a way that's freeing. Once you accept that, you start to let go of the fear. It's kind of like the Buddhist practice of letting go of attachment. You can't control everything, and that's okay. The best way to get over this fear? Practice what I call group communication. Get comfortable talking to small groups first. Engage, connect, and remember, it's about being real, not perfect. The more you practice, the more natural it will feel. Just like how meditation takes time and consistency, so does cultivating charisma. So there you have it, your first steps to unlocking that inner charisma. Remember, it's about being true to yourself, embracing your unique style, and working on how you carry that energy into the world. Keep practicing, stay curious, and trust the process. Before we dive deeper into today's lesson on charisma, I want to mention something really special I've added for you. I've left a list of 4 amazing books in the description below, all focused on personal development and building your charisma. These are books that have personally helped me, and I'm sure they'll offer you incredible insights as you continue this journey. So if you're serious about growing and mastering these skills, make sure to check them out after the video. You've probably been in a situation where you're holding back from sharing your ideas, right? Maybe you're worried about what others will think, afraid to upset someone, whether it's a guy or even other women. This fear can be a huge block, especially if you're trying to communicate better and build up your charisma. Let me tell you, it's essential to start believing in your own ideas and sharing them with confidence. Don't shy away from standing by what you believe, even if it ruffles some feathers. That's actually where your charisma starts to shine. Think about it, when someone's always trying to fit in, blend with the crowd, people tend to see them as just another person, nothing special. But when someone confidently says, "I disagree, here's my take," and does it with conviction, they automatically stand out. People are drawn to that kind of confidence. It's a vibe that says, this person knows who they are. And that's what makes others listen and follow. History is full of people who dared to go against the grain and gained a following because of their charisma. But here's the thing, charisma can be a double-edged sword. Look at Gandhi and Hitler. Both were extremely charismatic, but one used it to lead a peaceful revolution, while the other led people into tragedy. So charisma isn't just about being magnetic, it's about knowing how to use that magnetism, whether for good or for harm. Now, another key skill you've got to develop is reading people. Charismatic people aren't just great at expressing themselves, they're also experts at reading the room. They pick up on little cues, whether someone's into what they're saying or if they're losing interest. Imagine you're in a meeting, pouring your heart out, but the person across from you is giving off signals that they're just not feeling it. That's a sign to switch gears, right? But if someone's leaning in, giving you those vibes that they're fully engaged, that's your cue to keep going and deepen the connection. Being able to read body language and understand subtle signals is like a superpower for a charismatic person. It's something you've got to practice, and hey, there's going to be a whole lesson on that. So definitely keep an eye out for that one. All right, let's talk about one of the golden rules of charisma: listening. You know how when you're watching a movie on Netflix, you're completely locked in. Every plot twist, every emotion, you're right there with the characters. You need to bring that same energy when you're listening to someone in real life. The more engaged you are, the more the other person feels seen, heard, and valued. That's what builds a real connection. When you get invested in someone's story, just like you do with a good movie, you start to understand them on a deeper level. Pay attention to their emotions, what motivates them, the little details they share. That's where real charisma lives. Empathy. When you can understand where someone's coming from, you can interact with them in a way that makes them feel understood. And trust me, people are way more drawn to you when they feel like you really get them. As you gather more info about the person you're talking to, you'll start to know which direction to take the conversation. You'll be able to tell if they're vibing with you or if they're just not that into the convo. And here's the key, understanding their motivations. Once you tap into what drives them, you can tailor your conversation to really hit home, maybe even spark some strong emotions. For example, let's say I know Bruno, my cameraman here, is super into filmmaking. If I show him a clip of an awesome new director's work, I know that's going to get him excited and pumped to talk. Why? Because I've paid attention to what he loves. It's those little observations that lead to deeper, more meaningful interactions. Now, another major piece of the charisma puzzle, making people feel comfortable around you. How do you do that? By acknowledging their strengths in a real, genuine way. Be subtle, though. Don't overdo it, or you might come off as insincere. A small, thoughtful compliment, like mentioning how sharp their sense of humor is or how great they are at their job, can make a huge difference. When you help people feel comfortable being themselves, they'll appreciate you even more. People love being around someone who allows them to drop the act and just be real. And guess what? That's one of the most powerful things a truly charismatic person can do. Help others feel free to be their authentic selves. That's when real connections are made, and that's the kind of charisma that sticks with people. All right, before we wrap this up, let me leave you with one last golden tip that'll set you on your path to becoming more charismatic. I want you to really take this in, write it down, and keep it in mind as you go about your day. And don't stress, we've got a lot more to cover in future videos, so we'll be building this step by step together. But here's that final golden nugget of wisdom. Learn to understand emotions and express them. This is a game changer. A lot of people struggle to connect with others because they don't express their emotions clearly. And on the flip side, many can't quite grasp what others are feeling. But if you're aiming to be charismatic, you've got to do both. Be someone who knows how to show your own emotions, and be someone who's tuned in to what others are feeling. When you get these two things down, you're already halfway to becoming that magnetic, charismatic person you want to be. Once you can sense what someone else is feeling, you're able to adjust. If you notice something making them uncomfortable, you steer away from that topic. Simple common sense. And when you hit on something that lights them up, you stay with that. You build on it because it's something they enjoy, and it creates a strong connection between you. Focusing on the positive emotions is key. It's like a feedback loop of good vibes. And once you start building that, people naturally want to be around you. But here's the kicker. It's not enough just to read others. You've got to be clear with your own emotions too. People need to understand where you're coming from. And if you're all closed off or not showing any feelings, it's hard for them to connect with you. You know that feeling when you meet someone and something about them just feels off. You can't put your finger on it, but you don't quite click. Most likely, it's because they're not expressing any real emotion. And when someone's emotionally shut off, your brain can't figure out their intentions, so it keeps them at arm's length. That's why it's so important to show emotion. Let people in. When you're telling a story, use your facial expressions, your body language. Let them see what you're feeling. If you're angry, show it. If you're excited, ramp up the energy. Share a happy story with a smile on your face. Let them feel your joy. When you're excited about something, let that excitement flow through your words, your gestures, your vibe. It's contagious. And that's how you create real connection. When you express yourself clearly, people don't have to guess what you're feeling. They'll feel like they can relate to you. And that's when the magic happens. That's when people start to feel drawn to you, and that's where charisma starts to grow. So remember this: express your emotions, understand the emotions of others, and watch how your connections deepen. It's powerful stuff, and it'll transform the way you interact with everyone around you. I hope you got a lot out of this class, and trust me, there's so much more to come on charisma. We're on this journey together, and I can't wait to share more with you. Until next time, and that's it for today. I hope you found these insights on charisma as powerful and transformative as I do. Remember, by learning to express your emotions and understanding how others feel, you're already well on your way to becoming a more charismatic person. It's all about those authentic connections and showing your true self. If you've made it this far, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and leave a like. It really helps the channel grow. And if you know someone who could use these tips, go ahead and share this video with them. Let's keep building our charisma together. See you next time.